podcast where we react to everything and anything. All right, are you ready to dig into a piece of music history that's as catchy as it is controversial?
Let's do it. I'm always fascinated by how a song can capture a moment in time and spark debate for years to come.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. You've requested a deep dive into Kanye West's Gold Digger,
Yeah.
and we've got a stack of sources ready to go: lyrics, interviews, critical reviews, even some legal documents.
This song was huge when it dropped back in 2005, and honestly, it's still sparking conversations today.
We'll unpack why that is, looking at everything from the musical origins to the song's lasting legacy. But let's start with the foundation, the music itself. It's interesting how much of Gold Digger actually comes from another artist.
Right. The song heavily samples Ray Charles's 1954 hit, I Got a Woman. It's that instantly recognizable groove that underpins the whole track.
And I bet most people don't realize there's a whole Jamie Foxx connection woven in there, too.
Exactly. Wes was initially worried about clearing the original sample, so he had Jamie Foxx, who just won an Oscar for playing Ray Charles in the biopic Ray record, an interpolation of I Got a Woman.
Wait, so Fox's vocals were like a backup plan in case the original sample didn't work out.
Precisely.
Yes.
A musical safety net. It's ironic, isn't it? A song ostensibly about gold diggers is itself built on borrowing from another artist.
Okay, I see where you're going with that.
Mm.
It raises questions, right? Is Kanye critiquing a system where artists, particularly black artists, might feel pressure to utilize the work of others to break through? Or is it more playful than that?
That's the beauty of art. It can be open to interpretation. And that's what makes Gold Digger so fascinating to dissect. But let's move on to what really made the song a phenomenon, those iconic and undeniably controversial lyrics.
Yeah, that hook, I ain't seen she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke niggas, is instantly catchy provocative and turns the tables on how we usually think about gold diggers.
Right. Traditionally, it's women who get labeled as gold diggers. But here, West flips the script, putting men in that vulnerable position. He even goes a step further, adding lines like, if you ain't no punk, holla we want prenup. It's like he's giving guys a playbook for navigating relationships in a world where financial power dynamics can be fraught.
I mean, that line is pure Kanye, a mix of playful bravado and a serious financial message. But there's a lot more social commentary woven throughout the song, right? Some of it's delivered through humor and some of it's a little more direct.
Absolutely. West tackles topics like child support disparity with lines like 18 years, and on the 18th birthday he found out it wasn't his. That one always sparks debate.
Yeah, I can see why. There's a lot to unpack there for sure. But he also throws in lines like, she walking around looking like Michael with your money. Should have got that insured. Geico for your money. Do you think those lyrics are playing into harmful stereotypes about women and money?
That's a great question, and it's where things get complicated. On the one hand, you could say he's simply using humor to point out a societal phenomenon. But on the other hand, those lines do seem to play into the stereotype of women being irresponsible with money, a stereotype that frankly ignores the economic realities many women face.
So we've got humor, social commentary, and a whole lot of controversy packed into one track.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's what fueled the song's massive success?
It's definitely part of it. Gold Digger topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 10 weeks, which is a huge accomplishment. But I think its staying power also has to do with the way it tapped into conversations that were already happening around gender roles, money, and relationships. West just brought them to the forefront of pop culture, whether people wanted to hear it or not.
I think that's a great point.
Hmm.
It wasn't just catchy, it was relevant. And speaking of relevance, there's another layer we need to talk about: race. There's that verse where West raps about a black man who, after achieving success, leaves his black girlfriend for a white woman.
And that verse is undeniably problematic. It plays into harmful stereotypes and raises complex questions about race relationships and social mobility within the Black community. It's something listeners have to critically engage with, even if it makes them uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Gold Digger isn't just a song. It's a reflection of its time, and that includes some of the uglier aspects of our culture.
It forces us to confront those aspects whether we like it or not, and that's something worth talking about. It's interesting how a song that sparked so much conversation also landed Kanye in some legal hot water. Remember that copyright dispute back in 2013?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that until we started digging into the research for this deep dive. Remind us what happened.
Well, West was sued for allegedly sampling the Get Down chants from a 1974 song called Bumpin' Bus Stop by a group called Thunder and Lightning. Those chants were actually added by the DJ A-Track, and they play prominently during the chorus of Gold Digger.
Right. Didn't the children of the singer from Thunder and Lightning file the lawsuit?
Exactly. They claim that West used their father's voice without permission. But here's where it gets a bit tricky. Gold Digger came out in 2005. The lawsuit wasn't filed until 2013.
Why the long delay? It seems like they would have noticed the sample right away.
That was part of their argument. They said their father was in poor health when Gold Digger was released and wasn't aware of the alleged sampling. He passed away in 2006, and his children claim they didn't have enough information to file a lawsuit until much later.
Interesting. So what was the outcome? Did they win the case?
Not really. In 2014, a judge threw out most of the claims, arguing that the samples used were too short and distorted to be recognizable as coming from a bump and bust stop.
So Kanye dodged a legal bullet there.
Ah.
But it does highlight how complex sampling in music can be, particularly in hip-hop, where it's such a foundational element.
It's a gray area for sure. Gold Digger exemplifies how a song can blend musical influences from different eras while also raising those tricky legal and ethical questions about ownership and creative inspiration.
Makes you wonder if there are tons of hip songs out there with samples that haven't been properly cleared or credited.
Oh, I'm sure there are more than a few. It's a constant debate in the music industry. Where's the line between homage and infringement? When does sampling cross over from creative inspiration to something that requires legal clearance? These are questions that are likely to keep popping up as long as sampling is a part of music creation. These are questions that are likely to keep popping up as long as sampling is a part of music creation. But enough about lawsuits. Let's talk about how Gold Digger has been reinterpreted over the years. We're talking covers, of course.
Yes. I love how cover songs allow artists to put their own spin on a familiar track. It can totally change how you hear the original Empyrean. What are some of the most interesting Gold Digger covers out there?
There are quite a few, but the one that always comes to mind is by the Welsh rock band, The Automatic. They transformed it into this high-energy punk anthem, performing it live at festivals like Reading and Leeds. Imagine that energy, a rock band belting out lyrics about gold diggers and prenups.
That's wild. Such a different vibe than Kanye's original. Any other covers that stand out?
Well, there's a version from the TV show Glee that's an experience. It features two of the main characters performing the song in this very theatrical, Broadway-esque style.
Wow, talk about a genre shift. What do you think these covers tell us about the lasting impact of Gold Digger?
I think they demonstrate that even a controversial song can transcend genres and be reimagined in unexpected ways. The message might be complex, the lyrics might be problematic, but that core catchiness is undeniable. It resonates even when it's stripped down and rebuilt in a totally different style.
And maybe hearing those covers helps us revisit the original with fresh ears. Like a rock band or a glee club covering a hip-hop anthem might force you to think differently about those themes of gender and money that are so central to the song.
Exactly. Covers have a way of highlighting different facets of a song, pushing us to reevaluate its meaning and its place in our culture. In the case of Gold Digger, there's a lot to unpack, right? From the musical influences to the lyrical content to the legal battles, this song has layers.
It really does. And I think we've touched on the most important ones today. The musical origins, those controversial lyrics, its massive commercial success, the legal challenges, and its lasting legacy through covers.
I think you're right. We've explored a lot of ground with this deep dive. It's been fascinating to revisit Gold Digger. And I think what makes it so enduring is that it continues to be relevant. Even though it's almost 20 years old now, the conversations that started around gender roles, finances, and race are still unfolding.
They are, aren't they? And this might make you think about how much or how little those conversations have actually evolved since 2005.
It makes me wonder, how would we write a Gold Digger for the 2020s? Would the lyrics be different? Would the musical style change? What new layers of meaning could we add to those same themes?
It's a thought-provoking question for sure, and one we'd love for you to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive. Gold Digger might be a product of its time, but the issues it tackles are timeless. How has our understanding of those issues changed or not changed since the song first hit the airwaves?
That's the big question. And it's one we'll leave you to rest with.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How a song from almost 2 decades ago can still feel so relevant.
Well, the core concept of Gold Digger, right? This exploration of power dynamics in relationships, through the lens of money and status, it's kind of timeless.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's like a modern-day morality play, but set to a beat you can't help but dance to.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so fascinating to analyze, I think. It's not just a song. It's a cultural artifact. It reflects these anxieties we have around gender, race, economic disparity. It's a conversation starter, even if some of those conversations are uncomfortable.
Definitely. And I think we saw that play out in the variety of covers Gold Digger has inspired. From punk rock to Broadway-style theatrics, each reinterpretation brings a new perspective to the original.
Yeah, those covers are proof that Gold Digger has seeped into our collective consciousness, Even if we don't realize it, they force us to re-examine the song's message, the stereotypes it reinforces, and the questions it leaves unanswered.
Yeah, it's almost like each generation gets to wrestle with its own version of Gold Digger. The details might change, the musical landscape might shift, but the core themes remain relevant.
It makes you wonder, right? If Kanye were to write Gold Digger today in 2024, how would it be different? Would he address the same anxieties? Or would the focus shift entirely?
Well, we've seen a huge cultural shift in the past 20 years. The rise of social media, changing economic landscapes, evolving ideas about gender and relationships, it's all fertile ground for Gold Digger 2.0.
And musically speaking, think about how much has changed. Would today's version be a trap anthem, a hyperpop banger, a lo-fi bedroom pop ballad? The possibilities are endless.
I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But for now, we'll have to leave that hypothetical remix to your imaginations. We've reached the end of our deep dive into Kanye West's Gold Digger, and I hope you found this exploration as fascinating as we have.
It's been a journey for sure. From the catchy hooks to the controversial lyrics to the complex legal battles, this song is a microcosm of cultural trends, artistic expression and social commentary.
We've unpacked the musical origins, dissected those provocative lyrics, explored the song's massive success and lasting impact, and even touched on its legacy through covers. But at the end of the day, Gold Digger is more than just a song. It's a reflection of us, our values, and our anxieties.
It's a mirror reflecting back the complexities of our time. And as with any mirror, what you see in it depends on where you're standing.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Gold Digger sparked countless conversations about money, power, and relationships back in 2005. Have those conversations changed? Have we evolved? Or are we still grappling with the same questions, just in a different context?
That's for you to decide.
And as always, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. The podcast sponsor is in the description below, so go and check them out. Thanks.